So welcome. Thank you all for joining us for this very special announcement. Dr. Lofton and I often talk about, of the fun things we get to do, this is number one, at least on my list. I know he's got many things, but I want to welcome you today for a special announcement. Our platform party today includes Chancellor Bowen Lofton, Executive Vice Chancellor for University Health Affairs Hal Williamson, and our special guest, Mark McAndrew. He will be hearing from Chancellor Lofton in a minute about our announcement. But I also wanted to introduce some of Mark's family who's here with us today. So when I read your name, if you wouldn't mind standing, and then we'll recognize you all together. So Mary McAndrew is here, Mark's daughter, who's also a current MU student. We're really glad to have Mary here. Jeremy Wagner, Mark's grandson and a current, is he not able to come? Please continue to stand. Sorry, we're going to embarrass you a little bit. Jeremy couldn't join us, but hopefully he'll be here a little bit later. He's Mark's grandson, and he's also a current student. Kathy Randolph is here with us, who's the daughter of Mark's aunt, Frances McAndrew, and her daughter, Megan. Please stand. Tommy McAndrew, Francis's son, and his wife, Nancy, and their daughter, Shannon, and her husband, Shiloh, are here. And then we've got Heidi Shute, daughter of Frances McAndrew, and her guest. And then finally, we've got, Christina Curtis, who's Frances' daughter, and her daughter are here. And then two of Frances' children could not be with us, but her son, Stephen, and her daughter, Laura, are here with us in spirit. So please join me in thanking the McAndrew family for being with us today for the announcement. Thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our Chancellor, Bowen Lofton, who's going to do our special introduction. And he does not need a whole lot of introduction, and he tells me to keep it short, so I will. But I'll just say that today is like his 6-month anniversary at Mizzou, so he's officially off probation. But he told me that he continued, he had to work the Cotton Bowl, the SEC Championship, and various other donor events before he officially started to get paid. So he tells me it's been longer than that. But as you know, Chancellor Lofton came to us from the presidency of Texas A&M. He also picked that easy major at Texas A&M when he was a student there, physics, which he graduated in 3 years, and graduated with a master's and PhD from Rice University. But most importantly, I think it's important to note, for those of you who saw it, that he did accept Gary Pinkel's Ice Bucket Challenge yesterday, and picked a very good day for it with 93 degrees, so you might want to check that out on the Facebook page. But please join me in welcoming our Chancellor, Bowen Lofton.
Well, good morning, and to our guests, welcome to the University of Missouri. We're so glad to have you here. Nice day outside, a little warm perhaps. That's why I picked yesterday as the Ice Bucket Day. I got cooled off with the team yesterday afternoon. It was a lot of fun. This is a special day for us in so many ways, but I want you just to think about the context. We're right now about to begin another fall semester here at Mizzou. Mary, you're gearing up for this right now, I know. It's always an exciting time at a university campus as the fall begins. We have about 6,500 new freshmen right now on campus, a record number, we believe, historically for the University of Missouri. So an exciting time. They bring energy and ideas and a lot of excitement to the campus. And of course, football season is very close behind. This is also a very exciting moment for our School of Medicine in more ways than one. We'll welcome very soon, here in a few months, Patrick Delafontaine, a renowned cardiologist who will take up the deanship of the School of Medicine. Patrick comes from Tulane University in New Orleans, where he's been for some time, and he will bring new energy, ideas, and excitement to the School of Medicine. We're very pleased today to be able to welcome back to the campus Mark McAndrew and many members of his family. Mark earned a degree here in the area of business a few years ago, right, Mark? I won't say quite how far back, but I'm older than he is, though. But more importantly, what he has done is serve as an example of what typical Mizzou graduates can do. This university has produced so many alumni who have been transformative in their communities, and they've oftentimes come back to the university and helped us become transformative as well. He was the first to endow a flagship scholarship that makes it possible for 8 students from Clark County, a very populous county we talked about earlier, of 8,000 people here in Missouri to attend this university. That speaks to me because I grew up in a very poor family, and what made my education possible was a generous donor like Mark who gave me a scholarship. Without that scholarship, I might never have made it to college. So I have a great fondness in my heart for anyone who helps a person, especially from a county like, my county was 10,000, by the way, so a little bigger than Clark County, who helps someone, especially from a rural area, small population area, without much history of college going, to make it to the university. So we're very pleased about this, and it's not just money. Mark goes well beyond that by dining with these students and mentoring them as they progress their studies here at the University of Missouri. Of course, this School of Medicine and MU Health have also a special place in Mark's heart, as his first child was born here and was saved by using a fetal heart monitor. So he has a direct connection to that child, to this university as well, and to our medical complex here. Of course, cancer is something I bet everyone in this room has been touched by in some way. My mother, both grandmothers, and a great-grandmother died from cancer in my family. Mark's no different. He lost a mother, a sister, and an aunt to the disease. And most recently, his aunt Frances McAndrew was treated at the Ellis Fischel Cancer Center here at the University of Missouri. And that stimulated him to think about what he could do to continue the trajectory of this School of Medicine, MU Health, and especially the Ellis Fischel Cancer Center in terms of the fight against cancer, a fight we all join in and support. So I have the great pleasure today of announcing a gift of $2.4 million to the University of Missouri for the Frances McAndrew Endowed Chair in Oncology in the School of Medicine. And this gift includes a $400,000 special piece that goes to support Fred Hawthorne's extraordinarily innovative research on cancer therapy. Thank you so much, Mark. This isn't all. Mark continues to serve us by serving on our campaign cabinet. So he has a chance to help me prod this man to my right here to continue to excel. I'll remind you, we just finished fiscal year 2014 at the end of June with a record $165 million of direct gifts and pledges to the University of Missouri. So thank you, Tom, for that, and thank you for your leadership on the council also, Mark. It was important to Mark in choosing to endow a chair here that we can expand the way in which Ellis Fischel Cancer Center can help those in rural Missouri. One of the features of our School of Medicine is that our medical school students are asked to write a legacy teacher essay about the patient, mind you, that is taught them the most during our time here at the University of Missouri. Our student, Noah Wall-Dickler, wrote a 3-page letter that's a lovely tribute to your Aunt Frances and to her spirit and to the love of her family. I'll simply quote a piece of this to give you a sense of the passion kindled in this medical student by this individual. Quote, "Not all the epidemiology, pathophysiology, technical skills, or clinical experience I acquire in my medical training will remain more prominent in my mind than the lessons Frances and her family taught me. As I progress in knowledge and competence, I can only hope that I can convey even a small piece of the compassion and strength that the McAndrews live each and every day. See how special this is. Thank you, Mark. Let me now introduce our Executive Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs, Hal Williamson.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Lofton, and I read that letter this morning also, and I saw some folks tear up in the front two rows, and I did too when I read it this morning. Pretty amazing. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming today. I couldn't resist, by the way, when my rural brothers come up, I just had to tell you that I was born in Heron Lake, Minnesota, where when I was born in 1950, people still talked about when Teddy Roosevelt's train came through on his way to Glacier Park. So we have some roots that way. First, I'd like to extend my gratitude on behalf of the University of Missouri Health System. We really are grateful for the generosity of Mark and the McAndrew family. Both Dean Les Hall and I have worked with Mark to understand his aspirations and his intentions. And in my case, Les, it was aided by a very nice bottle of red wine, thank you. And we're very appreciative of the opportunities that this gift will create for us, and we've discussed some of those with Mark. The gift will, in fact, advance the University of Missouri Health System's mission of providing world-class cancer care at our Ellis Fischel Cancer Center, right behind me over here. But not only is it about caring for and treating people who are living with cancer, but the creation of this endowed chair position will help enhance and expand the university's research efforts with the ultimate goal of finding a cure for cancer. Here at the University of Missouri and at Ellis Fischel, we know firsthand the toll that cancer can take on individuals and their family members, as does Mr. McAndrew and his family. As the oldest cancer center west of the Mississippi River, Ellis Fischel has been the setting for the battle against cancer since the 1940s. For more than 70 years, our physicians, nurses, and researchers have played a significant role in making improvements in cancer care. Research holds the potential for better understanding the diseases we call cancer, for detecting cancer at its very earliest stages, and for developing better ways to treat it. Research has always been a priority at Ellis Fischel. Many of you may not know, but in the 1940s, our specialists studied the effectiveness of radiation therapy as a cure for cancer. In the 1960s, MU's nuclear reactor began producing radioisotopes for research and clinical applications. And in the 1990s, Ellis Fischel researchers played a leading role in the first nationwide breast cancer prevention study involving the drug we use commonly these days, tamoxifen. Today, Emory researchers are making advances in nanotechnology treatments and in comparative oncology studies, so that work goes on. The experts at Ellis Fischel have been pioneers in providing the best treatments and screening methods to fight cancer, but the fight of cancer against cancer is an ongoing one. As I'm sure many of you know, earlier this year, Ellis Fischel became the first academic medical center to become a certified member of the MD Anderson Cancer Network, which is a program of the University of Texas. This affiliation gives us the opportunity to work collaboratively with a national leader in cancer research and cancer care, and the first few months of our affiliation have been productive ones. We all recognize that winning the fight against cancer is going to require collaboration, innovation, and teamwork, and that's why we felt a responsibility as the region's largest multi-specialty cancer group to work collaboratively with a national leader in cancer care. It's also why we're very happy to have Mark and his family on our team. On behalf of the University of Missouri Health System, thank you so much. Your generosity and commitment will help cancer patients today at the bedside, through improvements in clinical care, and in the future as we move forward in our mission to conduct research to eradicate cancer. Thank you very much. And Mark, thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any prepared comments, so I'm just going to talk a little bit. You know, Dr. Lofton has already said everything I was going to say, so but that's okay. You know, I was thinking this morning how much I've been so blessed in my life in so many ways. And I was just thinking that without the opportunity that I had to attend the University of Missouri, most of those doors would never have been open for me. So I owe this university so much. Not only that, as you also mentioned, my oldest daughter was born here at the University Hospital when I was a student here. And at that time, a fetal monitor was kind of new technology. But without that, she would not be here today. Because during labor, her heart stopped. And wow, I think it took about 4 minutes for her to be delivered by emergency C-section. But at any other hospital in the area at the time, she would have been stillborn. So I truly owe both this medical center and the university so much. And why cancer? Again, as he mentioned, not only did I lose my Aunt Frances last year, I lost a sister last year, lost my mother, as well as several aunts and uncles. So everybody, especially when you get to my age, everybody's been touched by cancer. It's such a horrible disease. And I hope someday to see a day when there's no need for a chair in oncology, that we come up with a cure for this terrible disease. But until then, hopefully this gift will at least in some way maybe save a life or extend a life, or at least improve the quality of some people's lives here in the state of Missouri. But the other thing I need to say is my Aunt Frances was a special person. You know, she was goofy, she was funny, and if you read Noah's write-up, he talks about she was silly, but she was very caring, and she was always totally selfless. Even when she was struggling this disease, when I had the opportunity to go visit her, she was always worried about, you need something? You need something to eat? I said, no, it's okay. You know, just, so it's kind of hard to describe, but hopefully a little part of her will live on here, and she'll be remembered for the great person that she was. And I'm really glad that her children are able to make it here today to share this time with me. But thank you, and
Thank you, Mark, so much. And we'll close out by just saying two things. One is a number of members of my staff are here, and I want to thank them for all their good work. But I also want to mention Kevin Hyen's name, because Kevin has worked really closely with Mark over the years to continue the conversation about what Mark's philanthropic passions that match up with Mizzou's passions, and have really developed that relationship. So thank you, Kevin, for that. And of course, for Mark's work. Bowen mentioned earlier this record-breaking year, $165 million in gifts and pledges, which, as I like to say, everybody's for more money. But the thing that's really special about my job and the opportunity that Dr. Lofton and our team gets to do is we get to meet people like Mark and see the impact of these gifts. So yeah, 165 million is a lot of money, but when you look at the composite of the gifts that were given, whether it was 2.4 million or $25 sometimes, on the impact that that has on this great institution and the opportunity for it really to see things that make a difference, it's exciting work to do. And the neat thing, and I want to say this to the family as well, about endowments is that, in 50 years, 100 years, when we're all gone and some of these buildings are gone, that endowment is still going to be helping people in your loved one's name. And I think that's a very special tribute you can say about a legacy. So Mark, thank you so much for that. We'll be glad to stay around and answer any questions you might have. But one more time, please join me in thanking Mark McAndrew and his family.